It's been cold, very cold. We've had a freezing week here in Norfolk. Today's no exception. We've had snow, we've had sleet, we've had hail, we've had rain all in the last week. Today hopefully is Sunday, and today is meant to be the last day of the cold. Sooner it's gone the better for me. It caught me a little bit by surprise, if I'm honest. I wasn't really prepared. Every year I'm a bit late, but I did some emergency protection on some of the plants when I realised just how cold it was going to get. I can't tell you the absolute minimum because my weather station has decided to pack up as well, possibly due to the cold. It's definitely been -6. I was in the car 2 mornings, I've seen -6 as I've been going to work, so it's been cold. Anyway, I thought today we'd have a quick look round, just see how things are faring with what protection I did manage to get out. If we have a little walk along here, you'll see some things have makeshift rain covers, some cacti. Mostly everything is unprotected across here. The palm you see there, Rahera Marta, did have a builder's bag thrown over it. Not when it snowed, that caught me a bit by surprise, but once I'd knocked the snow off the leaves and it had warmed up very slightly the next day, I did put a builder's bag over that. I find builder's bags, if you look over the back here you can see another one, quite handy. I have some fleece bags as well, but as usual I wasn't quite that prepared in time to get them out, so a builder's bag sufficed to keep the worst of the cold off. I don't leave them on as soon as it's nearly above freezing, because I think the plants need the light to photosynthesize. We look under the canopy here, you'll have to excuse the mess. These were mostly dragged under here. The canopy above provides some degree of protection from frost, stops it actually landing on so much. If you look out as closer to the house, gets a bit of warmth from there, stops the frost actually settling so much on the plant, so it's quite a good area to drag some of the more desert type plants. The ricinus here is, I never got round to taking out, is still remarkably, if you look at the ends, the frost seems to have caught, but if you look further down, it's actually still trying to put out leaves, believe it or not. And we're now in January, but yes, we'll see what happens to that in the spring. If we look along here, for anyone who looks in regularly, this is where the colocasias usually live. I would have given these a mulch and got them ready if I would have been prepared, but as usual I wasn't. But yes, so what's happened here is these have gone mushy and horrible and collapsed basically. The frost or the freeze penetrates into the plants, and it's what it does is bursts the cells, so hence you end up with a gooey horrible mess. But even then, if we look over the back here, I think you can see where it's more protected by the wall of the house. Can you see there? There's still a leaf trying to come out, so it just shows you how little microclimates appear closer to the house. Generally the warmer things are. So under the yellow builder's bag here, which was only thrown on in a hurry again last night, if you look on the top you can probably still see the frost on it. Under there is Musabasdew. If you look at the bottom here, there's some quick makeshift protection around one of the stems with some tetrapanax leaves, but the brown tubes you see there are actually drainage, pipe drainage tubes, underground sewage type tubes. What I usually do when I'm more prepared is cut the leaves off the banana, put the tubes over the top, stuff or wrap them in fleece, put some straw around, and then push straw down into the tube around them. Unfortunately this year I didn't have time for that, so the tubes were put over the top in haste with the builder's bag just to keep the worst of the weather out. Under this mini greenhouse here is Bootia Areospatha. I'm a bit concerned about it, to be honest. There again, with the benefit of hindsight, and if I would have had enough time, I should have put a fleece bag over it. I bought this cheap plastic cover to just to keep the worst of the weather off it. I've been opening the front on milder days when I remember, just to let some air in. But looking through the plastic here, I can see some browning of the leaves inside. There is a bit of fleece wrapped around the base and the trunk just to protect it, but I was hoping to give it an easy ride and the weather would be kind to it this year, since that's the first year in the ground. But with palms you sometimes have to wait until the spring to see what's really going on with them. If we just look at the top, if you can see that, that's frost on the top there, so it just shows how cold it was last night. It's now about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and the frost hasn't even started to lift yet. What else can we look at? Fatsia japonica always looks alarmingly sorry for itself when it's cold. The leaves go down. I have no worries about that. As soon as the freeze has passed, the leaves will pop up back to normal. Tetrapanix has now just about dropped all its leaves. It's got those magnificent flower spikes, which has now been frosted, so I doubt we'll have any seeds of them this year. Pseudophanix, Moa's toes is looking okay so far. Schephalia rhododendrofolia is looking okay, not too concerned about that. Tree ferns, let me stand back. The tree ferns benefit from the shelter of the huge tree above them. I have been a bit concerned about this tall one we're now looking at. This year I moved it, what, 2-3 years ago, and the fronds have been getting smaller. When you get smaller fronds year after year on a tree fern, it's not a good sign. Usually means it's not really happy. Had plenty of water and feed last year, but I decided, once I knew the cold was coming, the emergency protection went on. So if you look at the top, it's just all wrapped in cloth there, which is to protect the growing point. It's got fleece stuffed into the crown, and then the top part, the important part of the trunk, is covered. Same with the one here. If we look through there, you'll see fleece stuck into the top, and the trunk has been protected. Same again with this one over here. In the big freeze, we had a big freeze in my last garden, 2009, 2010. It killed 2 of my tree ferns, and one never really recovered. It grew again, but the fronds were always stunted after that winter, so I always panic a bit about the tree ferns now. They're not a cheap plant to buy. They add real presence to the garden, deserve that little extra protection. So even on the coldest nights, I'll make the effort to come out to protect them if need be. We just walk along here now. The Aegeum here was covered in snow for several of the freezing nights. I've just thrown a builder's bag over that as well, just to protect it. As you can see, some of the leaves are browning up, but the middle still looks green, so I'm hopeful on that one. The big upturned pot in the middle there, Musabasio, the small one is under there, just being protected. More emergency cover. We swing round here. The pond has been frozen over. It's just about thawed now by the look of it, but yeah, There's a colocasia in there still, pink china. We'll see if that comes back after the big freeze. And the other plants, we'll have a quick look in the greenhouse. I was going to do a feature on the greenhouse when I finished building it, but the cold weather came, and as you can see I've had to stuff it full of plants. Some of them aren't protected. There's a Shaphalia there, unprotected. Some more Shaphalias here and bits and pieces not protected. Well, I say not protected, they're under glass. Brachyopsis motus over there. So in a hurry, what we've got here is a load of fleece. A load of the more tender plants are under here. If you can see through the fleece, there's a tube heater suspended in the middle there, keeping some of the heat in. Help them protect the plants. So the plants are under fleece. Hang on, let me see if I can get you in there. Are under fleece with the tube heater, so they're all tucked up here. I'm not saying it's warm under there, but hopefully that's enough to protect them for this year at least. Just runs on a thermostat. It's still on at the minute, so we'll just have a look under there. So yeah, so that's the best I could do in there in a hurry for protection. So hopefully the garden survived. I did what I could as quick as I could, but with work and other commitments you can't always protect things and get ready as you'd like. So that's a little update from the garden. Mid-January in the UK. It's been cold. Next week is going to warm up a bit, which is always good. If you liked what you saw today, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow, and I'll see you next time at Heathcroft Garden.